Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another scene for the living world of darkness, rage across New York. Wherein this morning, 10 Point has done a good bit of scurrying around because you know what? She got a job, and it's a strange job for her to have, but she got to do the job. So she has been going to various packs, to either members of the pack, to the alpha of the pack, and generally just asking ever so sweetly, ever so politely, if they can meet with her around, this convenient time at the Rock so that everyone can exchange what they've learned, what they've done, and get on the same page. And so, as that time, quote that time, rolls around, 10 Point will have in fact reported herself a little bit early to the Rock and be perched up there with a notebook, with a pencil, mechanical pencil. They're spiffy. And just kind of be politely awaiting, looking around, hopefully nervously, and waiting for various people to show. I'm sure word has gotten out for anyone else who wants to attend.
Felix is there in a very timely fashion.
Gasp. Double gasp.
Simon, is it good to say that Simon and Jacob were together and Simon just decided to come along because he was like there with Jacob on the last mission last night, and he was there with Felix and all that stuff when they killed Marissa and all that. Jacob.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Simon comes along with Jacob.
Hayden's been there with 10 Point anyway, so fuck it.
That works.
And apparently last the party is Latine, who comes from the direction of her own cabin. It's not too far, so yeah. She could literally have been standing on the porch and see everyone gathering.
Yep.
She might have done.
The last of the on-time people, anyways. Dun dun dun. And so yeah, as each person turns up, 10 Point will look more and more relieved, all in all, and flick around to a fresh page on the notebook, nodding to each, offering not nodding, reverse nodding, tipping back the chin briefly to each as they show up, albeit, yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, just offering a tip back of the chin to each as they show up. So I know that some of us have done missions, a one-on-one, and I have gotten at least one report from Chloe, but in order to do what I've been asked to by the warder, if each of you could tell me what we have managed to accomplish, what we've done. Kind of glancing around.
Well, Jacob will step forward, as this is wonderfully to the point. Yes, the Stratos would like to report that their mission in regards to disposing of John Clifford Mason is a success. Like the long version or the Cliff Notes version?
Perhaps the long version. What do you mean by exposed?
Disposed.
Oh, disposed. Oh! Well, then
That's not shocking.
Whatever points you think are important for the others to know. She gestures over to the old, the Wormfo board. Anything that people might need to see, might need to know as they go on with other missions.
Right, so John Clifford Mason, like the Mason that ran Andron, was a Spiralkin that An abandoned apartment labeled as suspicious by the police force that Masons owned in Queens by several full force agents who we disposed of in tandem with him. Interrogated him before killing him, and that not only is Taryn Filch the individual, the spiral that ordered the attack on the Sept to begin with, but that he is packless and doesn't have many friends among the spirals.
He was once a member of this set?
He,
Or has been on it
No.
lately?
no, Taryn Filch ordered the attack on this set. Very powerful spiral dancer. He is something of a ghost. Mason and a lot of other kin followed him, mainly because if you do, you get very rich very quick. Although they don't really know how. Mason obviously didn't know where he lived, although we did double check. But we do know however, how he's managing to keep those who oppose him in line. Two full force solution teams that directly for him out of the Bronx, Riverdale, 24th Street. They're arrested, and they're all going to jail for an extremely long time. About them. In addition, I believe it was noted to me about there was a figure known as OSIP that affiliated himself with Mason. He is a spiral kin that actively opposes. I don't know why I brought up how bold that was. Mason argued that he was being supported most likely by a figure known as the Lion. On this alias, I've come up with very little. It's noted that both OSIP and Lion figure are ghosts in a sense. They don't. They're difficult to find, to track. They don't show up much, only when feel obliged to.
You said the Lion is supporting OSIP in opposing Filch?
Yes. Aren't directly aren't friends with Taryn Filch. He kept them in line via the method that whenever someone antagonized him, their entire pack would wind up dead within a week, filled to the brim with silver ammunition. His full force teams. I don't know if he has more with the two. I believe we also noted they were connected to the death of our kin. Was also using them for that end.
Do we know if OSIP and the Lion were Guru, kin?
Mason said he doesn't even know if the Lion is a spiral dancer at all. He has no idea who he is. OSIP, he knows he's kin and he's a Russian mobster, but again, they're surprisingly difficult to find.
Is there a reason why there is so much animosity amongst them?
Well, I believe Terran Filch is considered something of an outsider to the hellhole, and he runs alone. He seems to have challenged the conventional authority of the hellhole from what I can tell. Keep in mind, they weren't just killing our kin to empower the hellhole. Kill his own family. I doubt a lot of spirals appreciated that either.
Someone like raise his hand up.
Yeah, he kind of like raises his hand as well. These teams he arrested, they posted bail yet?
Sorry, post a bill?
This guy, Terran Filch, right? He has a lot of resources from what me, Felix and I have seen. A lot of resources. You look over at Felix. I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to get them out right now, wouldn't you say?
It's a possibility. Might be worth keeping an eye on. He looks at Jacob.
But I've got the turrets. They wouldn't be able to pull it off without to be the most overt act of corruption in the history of the planet, which is quite really saying something, actually, because we have. I can't call it anything other than certain evidence, like certain proof.
Evidence goes missing. I'm just saying, keep an eye on it, Jacob Raya.
They're in my precinct.
They may be in your precinct, but he has a lot more influences than you or I or most people in the SEP do. I'm saying keep an eye on it because he has a lot more eyes and ears than most of us do. He's obviously very, very skilled.
Yeah, from what I know, he tends to run a lot of different circles under a lot of different aliases. I know the alias he used to bribe Captain Flint. I've now managed to connect the pieces there. I know that the alias used to bribe him was Terran Filch. But now Flint is also at risk of being under investigation because of connections exposed.
Maybe if you can get Flint to talk, maybe there's a deeper. Maybe if you can get Flint to talk, there's a deeper trail. Judges, lawyers, any of that type of stuff. Maybe that's where you should start. My advice, anyway.
I'll keep an eye on it. I'll easy for me to contact the sheriff than it is a judge. Officers and judges are actually often quite opposed to each other.
My experience with dealing with people like Flint is give the guy a carrot and see what he feeds and see how far down the rabbit hole it goes. People like security.
The way we deal generally with corrupt officials in a capacity of power is that we generally encircle them like we would a mob boss.
A nod. Yeah. No, it works. Probably poke him. If you need me to help give you a hand, I can. I'll start poking around as well and see what other type of things he's moving.
I know Mason dealt with the Irish, so it wouldn't surprise me if Terran Filch had a within that particular. Not sure he has as many connections to the Russians because his direct opponent is a Russian mobster. Has the police in Staten Island under sway, but also have accrued that evidence. Again, slowly bringing the spotlight under Flint.
I'll see if I can find any proof of his Irish mafia connections and see what you can squeeze. If there's a Russian guy, maybe we can use that to leverage and work down his support in the mafia itself and have you, meanwhile, doing the law side of things.
Yeah, I know the current mafia head. He's the current, well, the current oldest brother of the spying group currently. Apparently 2 were a part of it, but jumped town about 10 months back, a year ago.
He'll not. He'll not. Alistair's missing. Well, I took care of Alistair, so that's one gone as well. So I'll see what I can find and bring the information to you and see what you can squeeze out of it.
Multiple suspects always help. I can play off of each one.
It's not. I'll see what I can bring for you. That's all I wanted to ask. He just leans back again, lighting a cigarette.
So, I mean, we'll raise his hand again. What seemed weird with what Mason was saying last night is that when I was with Felix and 10 Point, it seemed that Osip was telling Mason that the lion was going to be taken care of. Like, it sounded like he was an enemy. And he'll like look to Felix and 10 Point for recognition or agreement.
Yes. The lion has very much been declared an enemy of Terran Filch. What he doesn't know is that Osip is currently under his payroll.
Well, sorry, I think I cut out. Osip is currently
Under his payroll.
The lion.
The lion's payroll. Yeah. And he's saying Terran Filch doesn't know this. Just to clarify.
If he was made aware of it, how would you think he'd react, Felix?
Honestly, there's the potential that it could go ignored. For the time being, at the very least. This issue with the hellhole is commanding a lot of Terran Filch's attention.
Actually, I think his reaction could depend on a lot on whether he can get his first strike team out of jail. Without, the threat of an entire pack being killed, well, I think a lot of people will have a lot more balls to say what they want about Filch.
That's if he has more. I mean, Jacob caught 2, which is good, but he could have another 3, 4, 5 on standby. Guy has a lot of money, a lot of influence.
Those were his 2 main teams. I mean, the way Mason said it is, it was if it was only 2. And I can at least verify those were the only 2 he knew about. It's possible he has more. Necessarily say he has a ton more.
It's not. Maybe. Go ahead. You just look at Tasha. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
You first, Han.
I was simply wondering, I've been thinking on a certain idea that might make it possible for me to create a hidden link on a Black Spiral Dancer's mind. Is there any particular information that you would want to know from either of these guys? I'm not sure if I can help, but I have an idea.
Osip we know is kin. Would your gift accommodate for kin as well?
The idea that I have is to work together with several spirits to set up a hidden pack link. That would work one way. So I would get information from them.
So would it work with the kin?
I guess.
What are the risks
I
of setting
wouldn't think so.
up a hidden backlink, spirit-wise?
Mainly to be found out. There's
You
always a
could do it
risk.
to Filch himself.
I was considering that indeed.
Personally, I'm more interested in what Osip has to say about the Russian. This lion. Filch, I've already got a bead on. The lion is totally new. Very much unknown. We need as much information on him as we can possibly get.
I mean, I can find Osip easy. That's his name, right?
Osip, yes.
I can find him easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
He won't see
I
me.
believe Chloe tried tracking him with her gift, and she came up with nothing. Something's natural detection methods, but you can give it a shot.
I can try. If he's trying to hide, you can feel it. Did they mention anywhere where he was located, this Osip?
No, but I know where he's been, and that was at the Manhattan. He had a meeting there with another individual. One of the Masons. That's where I intercepted the message by using one of my tribal gifts.
Well,
I
like I
believe
said,
that the Mason he's talking to is John Clifford Mason. Apologies.
Please go
John.
ahead.
John Clifford Mason. They didn't just write that down.
Yeah,
No.
he was the target of the Striders. He's been killed.
Temporal will glance over to Slate, as this is starting to putter out and can always be discussed more at the end. And Raya, I know you were supposed to investigate the Bane. Were you able to find anything or anything else?
I did. I summoned one of my ancestors, an ancestor spirit that lived on this sept a long time ago when it was still when it was still under control of my tribe. It appears that this hellhole has been here ever since that time. They had issues with it, they were fighting it. They had made a deal with the feline Pharaoh. They knew a ritual that would weaken the Bane that is controlling the hellhole. The ritual required several theurges, and the rest of the sept was to distract and protect the theurges and distract the any creatures of the worm that came from the hellhole itself. The ancestral spirit I spoke with, Sculpt the Hearts, was murdered during this fight. After this information, I went to talk with the pharaoh known as Obsidian Claw. He gave me the ritual. Well, made a deal. He gave me the ritual. It also requires some talons called archtorches that we basically need to trap this Bane inside of them. And as long as we keep her inside, it will weaken the Bane. But they have not managed to kill it, merely managed to weaken it substantially so that the hellhole would be shrunk. What English? And basically force it back, but they've never been able to defeat it fully. I'm looking over this ritual right now, and I'm hoping to find something I can add to it. I have a few ideas that might give us the opportunity to take down the entire Bane and, just destroy the entire hellhole. But I'm not sure yet, and I need to look further into this ritual.
Felix reaches into his spider satchel and pulls out what looks like a road flare. He just kind of flips it in the air for a second and catches it. This is an architorch.
Yes. You know how to make them?
I can work on it. This is some of the last of what was left behind by dusk.
I've got instructions to make them. So I will teach at least the theurgists to make them. What is important if we go through with this ritual, I will tell more about the Bane later, by the way. If we go through with this ritual, we will need to realize that most of our theurgists will be busy with this, and that the Sept will need to protect the theurgists and fight the enemy on their own. Which means that as a preparation, we do not only need to make these torches, but also make sure that we have enough Gaia's breaths so that the warriors will not have to rely on a theurgist for healing during combat. Because there is a big chance that most of us will be busy with this ritual. The spirit, Bane, is a female form that Jacob perhaps has seen as well during one of our missions in Staten Island a while back. It goes by the name of the Caliph of Pain, Lady Eve. It usually has the shape of a woman, but it can transform into a creature that spits balefire, and a lot of it, as far as I've heard. So, besides Gaia's breaths, we will also need to have enough armor talents that we can provide the entire Sept with.
That's bad. He can kind of rub the back of his head. That's really bad.
That is what I've learned so far. As said, I'm still looking into the ritual. I have an idea of what we could do to actually take it out completely. But I am not entirely sure of that yet, and I need some time to think that over.
Have the Pharaoh offered their assistance to fight? Did they mention that at all to you?
No, I have not. I have not spoken about that with them, although I could try and get back. Obsidian Claw is also one of the advisors of the spirit known as Queen of Cats. So I'm not quite sure how well of an ambassador it would be for the other Pharaoh.
Templar will cast a glance over to Felix.
And Felix kind of smiles, almost as if an inception has been cast.
Maybe they should be involved in this. After all, if they have more theurgists that can help you, as well as warriors, it might make their fight easier on us.
Well, the relations between us and the Pharaoh are difficult at best.
Points out, I think that's a bigger threat than tedious relations, I think, at the minute. I think appealing to that might be our key.
I may be able to try, Raz. If only because I've been aiding the Queen. And Felix, Raya, and I have already made gestures to appeal to Obsidian Claw and done favors.
It's been to my understanding, it's been quite some time since the Sept has heard from the Ananasi, but I could put feelers out there.
And although that might be difficult, I think that with this short contact we've had with the Rokea, I might be able to pull something off there. But that is a very unlikely might.
Even if it's a blessing. Anything.
If you consider that the extension of the hellhole, as far as it's come, it means it has come across the water as well.
Yes, exactly.
Perhaps, right?
I will try to see if I can. The only contact I've had with them is the one where at least some of you were present.
I saw him.
Oh, this isn't about Shark Bro. Oh, God damn it.
Well, these are the ones that told us to get off the water. We're clearing out Banes.
Yeah.
See, even if it's just a blessing, it's better than nothing.
Still would be able to do something with the waters, and that might be helpful. What I've also heard, and I don't know if everyone is aware of this, is that Battery Park in the south of Manhattan is getting infected by the hellhole right now.
Yeah, the hellhole has spread to the lower from Staten Island to lower Manhattan, from what I hear.
Yeah.
Are we doing anything to try and push it back at least, or even see what's out there?
I have not done anything yet. My main concern has been, well, finding out this information and, to be quite frankly, with my pack.
Nod. No, that's fair.
And I know the Spears of Fury were tasked with reconnaissance. They might have more information on how to deal with the issue than
If I can get
us.
the other Ragabash, maybe take Felix with me. 10 point. A few others. Maybe I can do a proper scouting. Lead it the whole thing. See what we're actually dealing with and what's coming.
Be careful. If you encounter this Bane, it will notice you. That is a
No.
given.
Nod.
It's another nod. 10 Point has been writing
How big
furiously
is
this
this?
whole time.
Yeah.
I have passed on
How
to
big
Saoirse
is Bane?
as well.
Sorry.
I've passed on to Saoirse as well that this meeting is taking place. So hopefully she'll be along before too long. So I'll get a report from her as well.
Jacob has Wormlore 1. What does he know about the Cleaf of Pain?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not gonna answer that. Like, go talk to an SD, but
It's an S.
Everything is
I
pain.
didn't
think
know
that's
jack
it.
shit with
She
Worm
is
2.
suffering.
Yeah, if she didn't know
Our
jack
whole
shit
is
with
now
Worm
suffering.
2.
But then again, I didn't have a name. Like, maybe with the name, you know a little bit more on Wormlord 1, but yeah.
We can poke an ST and I can add it to the doc or something.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob will ask, so how big are we talking with this Bane?
Big. Avatar of the Worm.
Oh, Jesus. That even sounds bad. Fuck.
I may have an idea, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work, and I hesitate to even mention it right now, because I think all of you would declare me mad.
Perhaps among the Theurges then. We can have another meeting.
Do we know of how much packs we're dealing with as well? Because I'd say spirals are fucking pouring out of that thing.
That is no information that I've gathered.
That'd be Saoirse's purview, I think.
I'll have a word with her then if she's not here. If we can get a proper reconnaissance out there, see what we're actually doing with before we even think of stepping in.
That
Might be an
was
edge.
their task, but I do hope that we get some word back from that.
In the meantime, it's pretty clear how to divvy up some of the things that we have established at this meeting. When it comes to reaching out to the Farah, we can split that up. The children of the Spirit Wilds clearly have the best foothold when it comes to the Rokea. His head turns to Aiden and 10 Point. 10 Point and I have the most rapport with the Bastet, but I leave that to the Seekers. And if anyone has anything about the Ananasi that I can't already go out and get, that would be appreciated. But
You have fun with your spiders, Felix.
always do. Arca torches, and he holds it up and tosses it over to Lataheen. Definitely need to know how to make these. Learning more about that ritual is paramount, and
Yes.
excellent work.
I will call on the Theurgist soon. I will need to discuss talon making and including these ones. She will hold back up the torch.
I will see if I can learn anything about abilities that may repel or protect from balefire. I can speak to some of the spirits around the shrine.
Yes. Any kind of armor, that is something I feel that we should all will be needing. So we need to make a lot of talons. Anyone in your packs that knows how to make Gaia's breaths or any kind of armor talons, besides the Theurgist,
I
because they will be put to work as well.
I know how to make some Gaia's breath. I can help with that.
Good. No one else has anyone in the pack?
I think Dallas can make something with armor. She can probably team up with 10 Point and they'll bang their heads together on it.
Good.
I once did a mission with Kumbhakarna, and he offered an armor talon. That might be worth looking into.
Yes. I've taught William White how to make Gaia's breath, so he can assist as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have new missions for much of us. Raya, she'll look to Jacob. Do you have a next step that you already have planned?
Jacob, wake up.
Bishop, wake up.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were. Guys, there's a lot of those here.
I thought you were talking to
She
the other
said,
Jacob.
I said she looks to Jacob.
She thought you were talking to the other Jacob.
You go stand in the corner.
Oh.
Continue containing the one on the materials side of the world. I own my own. Well, I run my own police precinct now, which means I can finally get to work on dismantling connections proper, including Captain Flint. Arranging for someone of a more Gaian attitude to take his place. And I think regarding the news of corruption spreading into Battery Park, I'm going to take a poke and a prod down there, but again from a goal. With full force involved in all these crimes, I'll begin launching an investigation on them. It's possible that I might even be able to remove them from the city, if not from the entire state, depending on how the investigation goes.
Excellent. They've been a pain in our asses for too damn long.
I wouldn't be able to. Obviously, it's what, a national, international. Obviously, can't just seize all of their assets, but hard
But
from
getting-
operating within the city or the state if I could uncover enough evidence, and that I've already got a fair amount of.
Baby steps, Raya. First you gotta catch him doing it. You gotta build.
Yeah, he says collecting evidence, and 10 Point just kind of glances over at Felix like, oh, hey, look, a glasswalker.
Yeah, you know that when it comes to collecting evidence, actually, Felix kind of makes one of those smug, sarcastic looks at 10 Point.
What? It seems like something of your purview.
Yeah.
Head duck. Just keeps taking notes. Until we hear from the Spears, can't necessarily take note on what to send them on next.
I think on that although I agree that reconnaissance of Battery Park is necessary, I would advise to wait until we've heard their report before we take action. Any step inside that hellhole could be a potential bigger risk than we can take on, especially with a small group.
I don't know. Sound logic. I'm waiting for them. Probably if they see anything, if they've removed anything, might make our job easier as well. No, I'll wait for their report and see what I can bring with me.
Another nod.
And if you need to make your reconnaissance in the Umbra as well, my pack is, as you know, rather capable of finding hidden passageways. So either me or Will would be more than happy to assist in this.
I'll take Will. He's better than you at sneaking.
This is true.
And
You
actually,
just say with any spite. He just says with really blunt honesty.
No, I mean, she's like, yeah. Duh.
He's been he's sneaked with Sante
Sneak
before. He
around
knows
that,
all
yeah,
about that. Yeah, no, he's just like, I'll take Will. He's better at it.
I mean, she would have probably preferred that Will would go, so that makes it more easy anyway.
I'll take Will. 10 Point has a couple of hours as well, so we can mark and tag Banes for you as well, and how to deal with them. Any lesser stuff you find.
and
I'll let him know.
10 Point will gesture towards Felix briefly. And Raya, I was with you, but giving the report so that the rest are aware of what we did and the details of it.
I'm sorry, what was that?
She's basically saying, I know what happened because I was there, but if you would please give a report on what we did so that the others know.
Yes. When it comes to Marissa Campbell, I led an expedition to the Manhattan, just a few blocks away from Sept, to the south. After hacking into Marissa Campbell's personal computer and finding her schedule, where she'd be after a while, I knew that she would be there. Once we entered, we did so surprisingly stealthily, which is exactly what I was hoping to go for. Got a room right next to Marissa Campbell's, hopped over to the balcony, and our good friend, Simon here, was gracious enough to throw her off the fucking balcony.
She totally fell. I'll say with a smirk.
While we were in there, I tried to search the other rooms again with one of my tribal gifts, which is where I intercepted the message between Osip and, I believe, John Clifford Mason.
Yeah, it was the same voice, same guy.
Just Felix kind of looks over. Yeah. And I got a tiny bit of information off of her laptop that I looted from her apartment. Not much. Not a whole lot of leads to work off of, but there is one angle that I am looking to pursue. It was a successful mission. Just kind of looks around. That's all I got.
Is there nothing on her laptop that could be of use to everyone else, Raya?
Nothing that I've acclimated yet. I have to sift through a lot of garbage. There's no easy way to put this. Marissa Campbell was a basic bitch. Emphasis on the basic parts. It kind of takes a moment to be like, oh God, what have I just said? But
I'm trying to remember, was there anything else that we heard in the conversation that might have been useful?
not anything more than Jacob here has found out. Only that we heard the lion by name. That get my notes real quick. I was trying to get them not fast enough. Here we go. Only that they all had to make sacrifices when it came to their kin. Other players are curious about what's happening down in Staten Island and the hellhole that's growing. Much like us, they have declared wartime.
And I know Murder Hobo mentioned that they had gathered packs from other places and that it was 5 of them that attacked the Sept. Yes? Or was it 4? Perhaps whoever is most suited to do it should figure out how they're making these connections outside of their own. Kind of tilts her head. Hellhole? Sept? Whatever it is. How they are bringing in allies. I know we spoke during the meeting of pulling in allies of our own from other Septs we're connected to, if it came down to it.
Maybe they have something similar.
Is there anything else we've learned? She's kind of glancing off, hopefully, periodically, like, maybe if I just look up the trail, Saoirse will be there. Maybe magically. AKA, I've given her the link and she's on her way, and I'm wasting time. I'm stalling. That's what I'm doing.
We know from what Mason said that Fjord is apparently super good when it comes to computers. So if we want to attack him or defend ourselves from him, that's good to know.
I mean, the guy seems to have a vast array of resources about him. I mean, he seems to know more and more of our moves than anything else.
When it comes to computers, that won't be a problem. I've beaten him once, and I'll do it again.
That's Mac.
These companies that you're talking of, have they been dealt with? Or are there any left? Because destroying his resources might also be an option.
There's a nod there. Especially if he's using them to incentivize the kin to help him.
At least not with the time we have currently, no. Taking down a target as big as Otoles would take time. Time that we don't have, with the hellhole growing rapidly.
But is that the only business he owns?
From what I understand, is Marissa Campbell is the key trying to venture out into other businesses. With her gone, he's set back a good while.
That's good. I mean, Clotilde looks like she has no idea what she's speaking of, which is exactly true. But
She was basically the bridge. She was moving into other places, moving into other businesses, negotiating with other business. She was the face, if you get me. So with her out of the picture, he's going to be set back always.
Best I could do on short notice. And Felix takes a bow.
So Filch himself looks over at Felix. Is there any way we can get him? Anyway, do you think?
It's possible. It's tricky. It's very complicated. And that's what nearly all of my research has been going into. After Marissa, he's been both crippled in a sense and at the same time has pushed him.
I had heard that he might be able to change his face, much like the other spirals were doing in the city while targeting the kin.
I was hoping to discuss that with you after this meeting.
It was a light nod.
But yes, that is an ability that he has proven to use. And I can say with complete safety, rather, I can say with complete confidence that he was the one who was impersonating Alana back when the issue with the kinfolk first surfaced.
Every hair on 10 Point's body stands up.
Was that his pack we killed?
One of the ones under his employ, I imagine, if not the only one. As far as I have researched and as far as all of his other sources are willing to say, he's a loner.
Okay.
Pretty much the same conclusion I reached.
I figure he's also the one dealing with the Bane. My first knowledge of this Bane implied that even Black Spiral dancers prefer to not deal with it, yet someone is doing it. I suspect him.
So he's a theurge then. Kind of raises an eyebrow.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
correct.
It would
Ah.
explain why the other spirals are not content with his presence.
I'll go ahead and say what I know. What's happening with the Hellhole is completely and irrevocably his responsibility. It is some sort of ritual where he is the right master.
Rituals can be disturbed. Is there anything more you know about this?
About the ritual, no. That's where my research has been going into, and all of my efforts have been going into this ritual and Terran Filch himself.
About anything else? Because I thought this meeting was meant to share knowledge.
Well, some knowledge is classified.
Hang on now. Now we're getting a bit weird now.
Right.
Folds his arms, leans against the rock. If we're going to be hiding the evidence from each other, what's the point in even going into that hellhole to try and fight it?
Why, you know well that an elder is ordered. That withholding of information.
From the whole sept.
I have orders from an elder.
Just shakes his head. What can you tell us then? Because if we can disrupt him, then he might be able to do that ritual again. Because say we push that hellhole back, he does it somewhere else.
It's easy. It's the goal that we've had all along. Is to kill him.
Disrupting a ritual can be as difficult or as easy as breaking a line on the ground. Sounds a lot easier to at least temporarily stall him by disrupting a ritual.
As I've said, this is where I've been doing research.
I thought, Jacob Ryan, you said that some of our kin were very blatantly sacrificed in a ritualized fashion. Is there any chance that you have pictures, that you have something from when this happened? Something that lets us piece together how he was doing it so that it can be disrupted in the future?
I doubt they're leaving photo evidence of what they're doing in the hellhole, but I'll triple check for you.
Admittedly, she has seen a little bit of TV and is like, yeah, crime scene photos or something like that.
Do you think he's teaching that ritual to other people if he's the right master then to maintain the hellhole's rapid growth? Because the two theurges.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so either. But for my part, it's pure conjecture on everything that's been said here, mostly.
It's not. Any fucking lead we need from this guy.
Well, if it is true that he operates solo and the Bane doesn't operate with a lot of spiral dancers, that's why I think the connection is between those two. The Bane itself is incredibly powerful, so would be able to assist in the ritual itself, I think.
Okay.
If you can't find photographic evidence, I might be able to ask the Dream Ravens for help to look back. But it's going to be oddly difficult, and I was planning to use or to pay tribute to them and to the Nightshade Talons to set up this secret link.
Work on the link first. That'll be my advice.
Might be tricky, but yes. Does anyone have something of him? Anything personal? Preferably hair or skin or blood?
God, no man's a ghost.
You said, Felix, we looked directly at him. You said he's been weakened since Marissa Campbell and all that.
I did.
And whoever put that name there in the park, Marissa.
That was him.
Right. Looks over to that, dude. The body's personal.
Have they already held the funeral? I'm sure he will attend.
That's been the goal. The goal is that through my research, it's proven that Taryn Filch never misses a funeral. The objective was to kill Marissa Campbell and then ambush him at the funeral.
Oh.
But seeing as how the current circumstances have changed, there's a chance he may not attend.
Or he might just show up looking like someone else.
Yeah, probably.
True, but a pulse would identify him if it successfully connects.
Sunswan would probably as well. But both of those could also send him a warning.
What about Marissa's spirit?
What about Marissa's spirit?
You do something to it, he'll come looking, right?
It's not that personal.
And unless she was Guru,
Yeah.
there would be no ancestor spirit.
I'm just saying, if he's that attached, just saying, it's a thing to poke.
I think we should poke when we're ready. These are still
I'm
the
saying
first
doing it right
steps in
away.
our
Just saying it's
Deadpool.
Yeah. Felix wholeheartedly agrees with Jacob.
they attack our loved ones and kill them. Maybe he'll wonder how it feels to have the same done to him.
How much can he care for his kin if he's sacrificing them to himself?
He must care a great deal. Self-importance, after all.
And just for convenience, she'll cast another glance up to the trail, hoping that Saoirse will magically appear this time.
Well, it just so happens that she does.
Oh, thank the Lord.
And she looks pretty shaken up. She keeps glancing back over her shoulder, even though she's now on set. She looks like something happened. As she walks up to the group, she takes a deep breath. Sorry I'm late.
Little tip back of the head from 10 Point, who's still perched up on the rock and has been scribbling furiously in this notebook. It was good to see you, Raya. I'm glad you can make it.
Hi.
The others have given their reports, and I have notes that you can look back over. But if you could report what you and your pack were able to accomplish and anything you've learned, we would appreciate it.
Of course. So, we did the aerial scouting, and the hellhole is big, much bigger than we anticipated. We saw at least 5 packs of black spiral dancers, and there's likely more. There is some sort of generator inside the hellhole that disables at least Talons. We don't know if it disables gifts as well. So that needs to be destroyed for sure. The aerial defenses were winged creatures. Harpies. We took those out. There is a way in from the Brooklyn side, as the hellhole is not spread to Brooklyn yet. So there will be a way in there for a ground scouting party to go and try and do some things. But you need to be very, very careful. There's a lot of things down there. They have a fetish that they can use to tame the Banes and ride them.
Where'd you say this generator was at?
It's inside the hellhole.
Right.
And you don't want to look at it for too long because it calls to you.
Oh,
Right, do they only have one of these fetishes?
I'm not sure. We killed the one that was riding the Bane that chased us out when we were and it was big and it had wings. It almost looked like a dragon. I don't know if there's more of these fetishes, but the one that was with the spiral dancer that we killed was lost with it in the ocean.
So it disables Talons as well. Fuck.
I don't know if it disables gifts. We didn't get a chance to test that out.
Is it Umbral side or Tellurian side?
This was Umbral's side.
Good.
Let's put a kink in the plan to use Arca torches. We'd have to take out the generator first.
Doesn't put a kink in the plan just for Arca torches. Nightshade Talons.
Everything.
We used Nightshade until we got closer, and it poof disappeared. We were still able to sneak up on the harpies in the air, but It's going to be a lot harder on the ground.
It's still... It didn't negate the boons that you received from your totem, from your pack's
Nay,
totem, right?
it did not. We were still able to fly and do whatever we needed to do with our
So,
totem.
technically, that would mean that it might disable talents, but not individually pay chiminage to a spirit. That is worth testing.
Saoirse will nod.
It's a good idea.
Aye, Talate. That is a good idea.
Yep. 10 Point will take up a thoughtful nod, keep scribbling.
You said the best entrance for a grand party is Brooklyn?
Aye. The hellholes spread throughout the other boroughs in the city. It's huge. And it's headed straight for the Sept.
Of course it is. Okay. I'll probably take a ground team then.
If it was lost in the water, would it be worth seeing if there are any Rokea that can go on the water?
With any luck, that's something we can find out from the Children of the Spirit Wilds research into the Rokea.
But there was something else that happened to me a little bit ago when I was on my way back here. That's why I'm late. And she looks, her voice her voice trembles just a little bit, and she pulls her phone out and she shows a picture to everybody of a severed head in a funeral home of a woman. And the text says, "Remember your sins."
Oh, you got one too. And he flips his phone around.
Aiden just looks over at 10 Point and just looks up at her, just stares.
10 Point is looking so hard at this notebook right now, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, so it happened to all of us?
Not to all of us. That's what I was hoping to get with people about.
I didn't get anything.
I mean,
So why is he sending that to you too?
Well, we'll do this now then. Taryn Filch has seen some of our faces, especially after the Marissa Campbell mission, where we very unexpectedly met him. He has seen 10 Point's face in Hamid, has seen Simon's face in Hamid, has seen Saoirse's face in Hamid, and has seen my face in Hamid. He knows Saoirse's name and my name, or at least has the resources available to. From former video footage, kind of looks over at Aiden. They've also seen Aiden in Dallas.
Glad, bro. Not Hamid.
But I felt like someone was following me on my way back.
Oh, Jesus. He probably is tracking you.
And it started as soon as I woke up today. Like someone was watching me and then following me.
Did you have that feeling here on Sept as well?
Nay, it went away when I got back to Sept.
Stay on Sept for now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. Which means I have to tell my girlfriend I won't be able to see her for a while.
You've been going to see your girlfriend? You're now gonna
Girlfriend?
Yeah, he just stares at her like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, raised eyebrow.
She nods.
We'll talk about this later, you and me. You'll say just very calmly.
She nods.
But at least that does mean one thing, and that is that the Sept's defenses are still adequate. Which is
For
also
now.
good to know.
For now,
Now is all we have.
It should probably be made known to the kin that if we are seen outside of the sept itself, We are to be avoided. At least those of us whose faces he has.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe, as he uses that trick, we can use that trick as well. Chameleon spirits.
There's a blink.
No. That's something we certainly can use, but in the grand scheme of things, that would sort of be a waste of time. We need to focus on the hellhole, and we need to focus on the task at hand.
I agree. And if the individuals who know most about Filch want to look further into him to take him out, but he already knows your names and faces, then that might be a very adequate defense that is very necessary.
It would also mean that if he's following people as they go into the city, you might be able to walk out of the park unmolested or unfollowed.
Your idea makes sense.
I mean, it could be dead handy for all of us doing going in the ground team in that hellhole. Chameleon spirit could be dead handy.
The way I see it, if he was going to make a move, he would have made it already.
And what if someone does a scouting mission, and at that point he's watching you and knows exactly where you're going, and can put a nice trap there?
A scouting
Yeah,
mission into the hellhole would be
evidence.
dangerous enough. Knowing our faces on top of it makes it worse.
Oh yeah.
Does.
With the individuals that he knows by now, that would, well, put half of our sept out of commission.
Mm-hmm. She has a point.
I'll look into it.
See what it gets us. Yeah, I'll talk. Have a look at 10 point. Maybe talk to some shadow things as well. See if we can get us an extra edge when we're going in there.
Yes.
Perhaps I should work with Latte then on making sure that you have talons at the very least that will give you the desired effect.
Talons won't work.
Perhaps not talons, the boons.
No. I have a special place that I use to work with the nightshade spirits. Also, if we want to get all these talons and all these deals going, might be real handy if we go on angling hunts.
There's a nod there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can organize that pretty easy. Just actually,
Probably.
best thing to do is just tell the water to have annual, daily angling hunts. Maybe.
Probably want to get everyone involved that you can, especially all the theurges.
Well, then anyone can participate in an angling hunt. It doesn't require a guardian. It does require a theurge, but beyond that.
I mean, technically, it's last year keeper of the land. I mean, you can just hold the regular things, can't you?
Okay.
Yes. But out of character, I'm not quite sure if you can do angling hunts on sept. So,
Absolutely can.
in that case, let's organize hunts. Spirit people.
Yeah, probably spread the word out. I'll make a howl even if you need to.
Aye.
Well, we have a master of house for that.
Probably best that you do it. You're a bit more subtle. And not less loud.
There is a slight smirk there, and calling a Wendigo subtle.
Besides, it suits for the keeper to make a howl regarding regular hunts of inglings. So long as the theurge goes along, all members of the sept in a way can contribute to the war effort.
Yeah, this is your territory, hun.
We'll first have to get the theurge meeting out of the way so I can teach everyone the appropriate talents.
Right, I'm gonna go talk to the water about having that scouting team. Probably, I'll give you guys ample time to get any boons or whatever you need, but I'll be gathering myself, Raphael. Probably will look over 10 point for her arrows and maybe bring Dallas as well, just to have a bit of Tour Ruins can't hurt, and she's good at sneaking.
Sounds good to me.
Looks around.
Y'all know what I'm doing.
Yes.
Right. Anyone needs me? I'll be trying to find the rest of them. You look at Talate and 10 Point. When you have the boons, come and tell me why exactly we need to pay and all that. And, usual shite.
Yes.
Just nods. See you all later then. And just swaggers away, lighting a cigarette, heading towards the lake.
I'll be making breath of Gaia, and if anyone needs me, well, I'm usually at the training grounds or with the ship's meadow.
Felix holds up his phone and says, "If you need me, text me. Otherwise, don't need me." Walks away.
Tiny frown.
Saoirse's gonna follow after Aiden.
10 Point will cast a glance offside to Plata then. Do you need to do any more work on your own, or shall I come with you to see if we can work with these spirits and arrange boons in the place of Talons?
I do need to talk with Will as well, but can see what we can do for now.
And she'll nod and take the page from her notebook, sliding down off the rock to where the board is, and we'll just tear out the pages and pin them up.
If you can meet me in my cabin, or at my cabin, then I will go ahead.
And she'll nod. Go ahead and put the notebook and the pencil into her swag and gesture ahead. Do you need some time first, or shall I come with you?
A little time.
In that case, she'll offer a polite, again, kind of a tip back instead of a tip forward of head, and we'll turn to follow the other two Fiona, because what's going on in this thread? And we'll offer a tip back of the head as well to Jacob as she is about to depart, and he is still there.
Yeah. I mean, Sam is still there.
Sorry, what was that, Bishop?
He'll wave her off.
Yeah. Very well. Would anyone else like to do anything else in this scene?
Waving?
You can keep waving all the way to the very end.
Yeah, Simon will just turn to... Now they split the two of them and they walk away. Simon will look to Jacob and smile. Oh, so, that was a cake last night.
It was okay.
And he'll just smile and not say anything.
All right. Well, with this massive exchange of information done, we'll say thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching, as all the characters go their separate ways, and Jacob is just kind of standing there waving forever, perpetually. And we will see you next time in the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.